Our next topic is angles, which are going to be generated slightly differently than the way you generated angles in geometry. So for our purpose, an angle starts with a ray called the initial side, and then you rotate that ray around until you create the terminal side. If you take a look at the angle I have here, we've got our initial side labeled, and then we rotated that ray around to the terminal side. When you rotate counterclockwise, that gives you a positive angle of rotation. If you rotate in the clockwise direction, that gives you a negative angle of rotation. So that's also something that's a little bit different from geometry. You didn't have negative angles. We're also going to be looking at coterminal angles, which are angles that have the same initial and terminal side. Thinking about it this way, if you look at the picture of the coordinate plane that we have, if you rotate around, you can continue past the initial side and land at the same spot as your first angle. So for example, if we have an angle here that's about 45 degrees, we could also rotate the full 360 degrees and then back to that same 45-degree angle, but that would be a 405-degree angle of rotation. And then standard position, when you're looking at an angle on a coordinate plane, when the initial side is along the positive x-axis, and then just a reminder of the 4 quadrants of the coordinate plane as well. So our essential question today is working with angles on a coordinate plane. First thing we're going to learn how to do is sketch angles. We will always start with our angle in standard position, so the initial side is along the positive x-axis. 75 degrees, of course, is just shy of a 90-degree angle. So that's approximately a 75-degree angle in standard position on a coordinate plane. Next, we'll sketch a 120-degree angle, again starting with the standard position, our initial side on the positive x-axis. 120 degrees is 30 degrees past 90, so it's not quite halfway through that second quadrant. Next, we're going to sketch a negative angle, which means we're rotating clockwise. Which quadrant will negative 170 degrees end up in? Starting with our angle in standard position, 180 degrees would make a flat line, so we are just shy of that over in the third quadrant at negative 170 degrees. Next, we're going to sketch a negative 400-degree angle. Again, rotating clockwise, starting in standard position. This time our angle of rotation goes a full 360 degrees and then 40 degrees more, landing us in the fourth quadrant. Quick review of complementary and supplementary. Complementary are two angles that add to 90 degrees. So for a 57-degree angle, if we subtract that off of 90, we will get 33 degrees for our complement. Supplementary angles add to 180 degrees. So if we subtract off the 57 degrees, we will get a 123-degree angle for our supplement. Our final example for this lesson, we're looking at coterminal angles. We have a 60-degree angle. One coterminal angle would be adding 360 degrees. So here's our 60-degree angle. If we add on an extra full rotation of 360 degrees, that would give us a 420-degree angle of rotation in the positive direction. We could also rotate counterclockwise. If we subtract off a full rotation, we would have a negative 300-degree angle for our coterminal angle. So that would be starting at the initial side, but rotating clockwise instead to get to that same terminal side. For a negative 30-degree angle, we could still add on that 360 degrees. That would rotate it in the counterclockwise direction 330 degrees to land at the same terminal side. Or we could continue rotating in the clockwise direction, another full rotation, for a total of negative 390 degrees. So that rotation would take us past and all the way around back to where we initially stopped. And you have 2 U-Try questions today.